So please welcome Kristin Ericksen to the show. Welcome, Kristin.
Oh, Ashley, what a pleasure. I cannot thank you enough for inviting me into your world with your beautiful audience because it's very clear that you and I have a very similar mission. So thank you.
Oh, thank you so much. All the way from Florida. And in a beautiful, before we hit record, everybody, I just want to give you she's beautiful in her color. And I admire that. And I couldn't wait for the curtain to open on the Zoom to see how beautiful her background was going to be and how
Oh, I
beautiful
appreciate it.
her color. And
Thank
I'm going
you.
to start with that because, in a world where I have daughters and, as a mom and, being in color like you are, and showing it's a confidence to me, and I've always, when I look at people, I say, well, that's someone that has so much confidence they can wear that. That's like it draws attention, right? Have you always been that?
I have actually. I think it stems back from being a little girl. I was a dancer, I was a gymnast, I was always in performance. So you always have these, if you have daughters, if they're in dance, they're in these colorful costumes. And for me, I'm just so attached to color because it is energy. It brings me joy. Plus, I lived in New York City for 8 years where everybody wears black, white, and mauve. So to me, I was like, we got to bring the color back. So that's why we moved to Florida.
I love it. Oh, but so here I am, a mother of two teenage daughters, and I'm going down your rabbit hole. And I'm wondering, I always know, why is Kristen in my life at this time? Why am I listening to her message? What am I supposed to learn? And I'm dealing with my oldest daughter, she's 18, 3 weeks into college, a little bit of, oh my gosh, mom, a little overwhelm. And I'm listening to her and, trying to tell her, it's all normal. We're all, you start school. It's like you throw your kids to the world and you better figure this out. And, I'm listening to your words of wisdom and your life story. And, when like I was telling her, she had just called me like when I'm sitting here 10 minutes and I'm like, yes. And always want to be there. But she's writing her own story and she knows everything's always working for her. I've raised them to the, if you only knew everything in what you believe they've known since they were zero. So I've been a very intentional parent and I had them older in my life. So, so listening to your story, listening to what you've learned from your life, and then also reflecting on mine, but now as a parent, trying to be that guidepost, but also let her learn her own story, like create her own life, right? So I'm
Yes.
at that pinnacle area right now where I'm letting her go. I'm such a, I love them so much, and I like, she wants to clean. I said, wow, where did that come from? You've never cleaned. But you're the laundry, all the little new things that we're discovering, and I'm understanding that. But long story short, what you brought to me and why I feel like you're in my life right now is to look at it from your like a different person's life story, knowing that, she's on the crew team, right? She's on it as an athlete. She's busy. And she's telling me this morning, Mom, I don't know if I can do this. I'm like, okay.
Mm.
I don't think it's too much. I said, "You're right. It is a lot. That's 2 practices a day plus what you're doing and with school and all the things." But when you stop and in an 18-year-old mind, it's hard to understand that. So, but when you stop and look at your life now and you look back at the breadcrumbs that you picked up and erased or did whatever, it all's perfect and it's all leading you to exactly where you're supposed to be. So on that note, Kristen, why don't we go back? Because I would love to hear kind of how you were raised. You're powerful. You're that person that you kind of stop in a room and look at, like you draw
Mm.
that attention. I know you're in musical
Thank you.
theater and you have that stage presence about you. But
Thank you.
now, like when the world starts to give you different doors to open and you start to like create, try to figure out what door you're gonna pick, like on The Price is Right or whatever that show is. It's like, I think I'm gonna go for door number 3 today. But go back to, kind of how you were raised and what kind of brought you to, where you are today.
Well, first of all, I will say that your daughters are very, very, very blessed to have a mother like you.
Thank
My
you.
mother raised me the same exact way, Ashley. And she basically said to me, listen, I will give you all of the tools needed to build a mansion, but it is your decision whether you choose to build a mansion or a shack. She gave us the amount of freedom to make our own decisions, to pave our own way. However, she gave us the foundation. She gave us the framework. She made us very much understand. I talk about us, meaning myself, and I have a brother who's a very successful surgeon, has
Mm,
2 beautiful boys. So my mother did a very good job because she instilled in both of us this tremendous amount of unshakable confidence to say, like you said, Ashley, no matter what the world throws at you, don't let anyone or anything get in the way of you chasing your dreams. Is life going to be easy? No, it's not. We always joke about with the students that I teach. I said, listen, if you're a mother, nobody gave you the user's manual to how do I be a mom?
right,
And I don't know how my mother did it. I really don't. I'm just so grateful that she did. She has always poured into me. She continues to pour into me. She has supported every single thing that I've ever done. And it sounds like you are the same, Ashley, with your children. And they may be a little confused right now at 18. God knows I was too, slightly. However, you do pick up the bread pieces going backwards. I always say you cannot measure success going forwards. You can only measure it backwards. So
right,
if you put together the puzzle pieces, I always picture it like dominoes. I call them the dream dominoes because it's one little domino that's going to trigger the next one, to the next one, to the next one. And they continue to fall and they continue to fall forward. So if we talk about adults, we often talk about failing forward, falling forward, but you're still moving forward. And when you look back on those dream dominoes behind you can see this beautiful path that every single domino had to happen in the order that it had to happen in order to create this beautiful path.
right,
So it's literally how I've lived my life. Have I gone through difficult times? Absolutely. Am I grateful for every single one of them? Absolutely. Because you would not be the person that you are today without that. And I hope to God that anybody who's listening to this, it's never too late. You can always reinvent yourself as long as you have a vision towards your future and you can look back to see the things that you've already accomplished in your life. That's going to give you the courage and the confidence to move forward into anything that you might want to pursue in the future.
right. So you were a theater major. You went to New York after you went to Pepperdine, and then you moved to New York to, pursue theater, Broadway?
Sort of. So when we talk about those pieces in between that derail us, at the time, this is way back, but not so long ago, I had the largest musical theater scholarship that was given at the time to Pepperdine University. It
Oh,
was my
wow.
dream of being on Broadway, like every young
My
actress or
girls.
dancer.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. And I was considered a triple threat: sing, dance, act. All of these wonderful things that thankfully my mother had allowed me to take lessons and compete and do all of the things dance moms do, right? Or gymnastics moms do. However, my junior year in high school, I was in a very awful car accident. I was raced to the hospital. My mother, who at the time was at work, she was the minister of music for our church. She was approximately 45 minutes away. However, she got to that hospital in 9 minutes. I still don't know how she did that.
Oh, I believe it.
they they did not tell her what was wrong. They just said, your daughter has been in a car accident. Please come. So you can imagine the panic that my mom had at the time. Long story short, I had ruptured a disc in my back, unable to walk, went through lots of physical therapy. My senior year in high school, I was cast as Peggy Sawyer from 42nd Street. And I had to do all of this with a massively injured back and a broken bone in my foot. But as I always say, the show must go on.
Mhm.
So I pursued that. Once that career I realized, you know what, it might not be in God's plan that my passion at this time was musical theater, but it wasn't really my purpose. I didn't understand that until much later in life. From that moment, all of the trials and tribulations that I had to go through with God slowing down my body, it was purely for the purpose of speeding up my mind. So, as a result of this injury, I became a physical therapist assistant at a wonderful physical therapy clinic in Malibu, California, the same physical therapist that helped heal my back. And I made it my mission to learn everything I possibly could about anatomy, physiology, physical therapy, anything to help heal other people with their back injuries and spinal injuries because I had gone through it. So, as a result of that, Ashley, I switched over to kinesiology, got my kinesiology degree in exercise science, and made it a career, turning into a celebrity personal trainer. A-list celebrities that would knock your socks off because I was just based in Malibu.
Mhm.
And those celebrities came into the physical therapy clinic. So it was a natural progression for me to just simply build that business out of that clinic at the age of 18.
What year was that?
So 1993 was my freshman year in college.
Okay.
So around 93, 94. And then my business really took off probably in 1994, 95.
Yeah, because I studied exercise science. And I'm older. So I went to college, graduated in 91, 92. But during the, late 80s and 90s, it was like corporate fitness was kind of the little thing. So I was like, oh, I love
Yes.
working out. I'm going to, study exercise science. But, I'm the one that had the no clarity or well, I tell my story of I had about 10 majors, left college, had about, you know, all these W-2 forms like every year. It was always like searching. But when you talk about the exercise science, that time of the year or that time of in my life too, it's interesting because and I did read the stars that you worked on, Olivia Newton-John, like amazing, right? What a story.
Yes.
What an amazing time. But okay, I want to continue because the point that how I felt with your story is, people listening understand that when there is I mean, you can call it a roadblock. You can call it a new opening of whatever, a amazing transition of a Y in the road. I always say there's a Y, you go, and that's going to bring you to where you're supposed to be. But it is God's plan, and it is time. It's those moments where you realize, like, instead of turning into the victim or turning into this poor me mind, and lowering your energy and your vibration so you're not seeing the magic, to see the magic even in those moments going, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. And not in a car accident, but knowing that this is what my plan is. There's must be something more amazing that is not the plan that I think is going to be.
Absolutely. It's so true. And fast forward, that same exact incident happened again in my life when 2020 hit. So many women were catapulted out of their careers, and it exposed the she session. So imagine if a woman has been in a career and all she knows for 25 years is one avenue, but she has dove so deep to learn everything that she can possibly learn to become the best of the best. And she's at the top of the totem pole in her career and in her industry just to get catapulted down to the bottom. Once again, we're left with the famous word that I've been using often, which is pivot. You either panic or you pivot.
Yep.
So in that moment, I'll go deeper into it, but I ask women, did you panic during that time or were you able to pivot?
Right. So that is where you were doing your personal training. So obviously you couldn't do that anymore, is what you're saying. And it sparked this new light bulb lit in your mind saying, wait, there's something here that I'm experiencing that I'm sure 99.99% of people are. And you have that mind of what's next? Where am I going to go? What can I do with this? That's what I love about you because I can see because you have that track record. You've experienced the back and now we're going to do this and then but it's all in this perfect exact divine timing.
Yes, which you don't learn until you do have a relationship with him. So I definitely love to share this story because I think it'll resonate with a lot of people that might listen to your podcast. When 2020 hit, initially it felt like, oh, this is great. This is a vacation. I get to rest my body 3 months. Okay,
Right.
cool. I can take an Epsom salt bath and I can wake up whenever I want. And I don't have to wake up at 3:45 in the morning to be to my first client at 5 o'clock.
Right.
Initially, it was, I was a little, it was happy. And then we realized, oh, goodness, 3 weeks now turns into 3 months, now turns into pretty much 3 years. So it had always been in the back of my mind that fitness and finance have a lot in common. And my story of moving from Los Angeles to New York City was because of a gentleman that provided that opportunity. He was in finance. I helped rehabilitate his knee at the time that he had knee surgery in Los Angeles. He ended up presenting an opportunity for me to become his full-time health and wellness person as he aged. So after negotiating that deal for 3 years, I decided, why not? What do you have to lose?
Oh wow.
You might as well go for the opportunity. However, I always encourage people, if you're going to take that leap, because if you intend to grow in your life, you're going to have times where you actually take a leap. Just make sure it is researched and you take at least a lateral move to go up versus going down. So, as we'll get into later, I spoke up. I was not afraid to ask for what I knew I deserved, given I had all of these celebrity clientele that I had built up for 15 years in Los Angeles. And if that person really understood the value of what I brought to the table,
Hmm.
then I was going to speak up and make sure that I was going to get my value. So I did. Negotiated it for 3 years, ended up signing the contract. I moved to New York City solely for this gentleman. I was in charge of anything health and fitness that he was responsible for, anything, whether he was getting cataract surgery or taking him through his exercises or anything mobility that we had to work with, making sure that he was walking properly. And then the first year I was there, Ashley, I got really exciting news that I was going to become a Lululemon ambassador. So imagine
Oh
you're in New
wow.
York City. I don't know anybody. I walk into Lululemon and all of a sudden they present yet another opportunity for me. And the day that this amazing opportunity comes, I go to his apartment to share the good news and I find him passed out.
Oh wow.
He had, he had had a stroke. Now, this happened in 2008. So if any of your listeners remember what happened in 2008, we were right at the start of a financial crash. I had sacrificed everything that I had built for 15 years in Los Angeles to take a chance, to grow, to experience something different, to move to New York City. What an amazing opportunity. And now seemingly everything stops. My income stopped, my life stopped, and he stopped. I was the one that found him, and 2 weeks later, he passed.
Wow.
The, the moral to the story is it is not always about us. I now know that I was not moved to New York City for me. I was moved
That's
for
for sure.
him. Because if I hadn't have found him, that gentleman would have died alone. and
Hmm.
he impacted thousands of people's lives positively. So thankfully, everyone got a chance to say goodbye to him.
Hmm.
So that was the reason. Those are those magic moments when you talk about what is the magic moment in a seemingly tragic
Hmm.
scenario. But
Wow.
there was a lot of magic that came out of that.
Oh, I wasn't expecting that. So you got the Lululemon that, so after he passed away, then how do you, where's your next pivot?
Ooh, this is where the confidence comes in. So thankfully, because I lived in New York City, I lived on Riverside Boulevard. And creatively, I thought to myself, well, there's at least 20 buildings on this boulevard, each of which building has about 300 people in it. So, seeing the opportunity in the mess, I decided to bring my practice and bring my fitness business outdoors. Now, we couldn't do that in the winter time. Thankfully, this actually all happened in the fall. So I had a few months to, put in the work. I brought my boombox out there. I brought my dog out there. I set up shop right at the top of Riverside Boulevard stairs. And we just started to bring the energy, or as you might say, we brought the color. Lots of people passing by. I handed out my card. Hey, nice to meet you. Come on over. And just sharing that energy and sharing a positive vibe. And inevitably, I ended up picking up several clients just by doing that, having the confidence and the courage to just, why not? You might as well go out and do it. What else am I going to do? And
Wow.
I ended up building the entire business off of Riverside Boulevard. But it's a lesson to share with people. Again, don't panic, pivot. Where can you rely on things that seemingly might be a disaster? But if you really look for the diamond in the rough, you'll find it. You'll
Hmm.
find it, but you have to be willing to step out there and go get it.
Right. It's like, it's this, when you're put in this place, like I'm picturing how you felt that day, like, okay, what am I going to do now? What am
Mm,
I, what am I going to do? And it's just in your mind, like how many people would just say, oh, forget it. Like, what am I, it's just, that's what's so inspiring. And that's why really where you're at today and why you inspire people and that's why I wanted you to share that because I can watch you on, how beautiful you are and you're so magnetic. But
thank you.
how did you get that? Like, where does that come from? I know that it's, innate and, we're born with that, but there's something under there's a layer under there that is pushing that out, is coming from the story that your life is, you know you have gone through. So that is why I think when I'm watching you and I'm seeing you speak and I see who's drawn to you, it's people that don't have that courage, that don't have
Mhm.
that place in that moment saying, okay, I'm going to get up, I'm going to find those stairs, I'm going to get that, it's just so, uh, it makes people go, oh, well, if she can do that, maybe I can do that. But it's what I see and what where my passion is for children. I'm very drawn to children, and I've always loved to help them, and that's what I created courses for raising confidence. And but when I work with children, it's the same idea on that scale. Is what, like, what my whole tagline on my website is, you can be, do, or have anything, because you can.
Yes.
There's no limits. But I've done it. I know it because of my story. And also it's what's inside of me. But when I see that in you, because I see it in me, I feel I can understand that. But so many people don't. And, these limiting beliefs, the way they were raised, what I'm helping these little schools now, and I'm telling the parents, like, they're pretty much programmed. Like, you've programmed them, they're your little computers. They're 80% done. So let's see how we can get the next 20%, how we can figure that out. But when you do help others and they are drawn to you, what do you what is your mission? Like, what do you want to see? Like, what do you want to be your legacy? What do you want people to say? Oh, wow, I worked with Kristen and I was drawn to her because of this, and this is this is how I am now.
Well, Ashley, I love the fact that you brought up children and how you are drawn to children. And I'm certain children are drawn to you. So, just in the women and the entrepreneurs that I coach, imagine if we just take on a little more childlike energy, a little more childlike attitude, still being an adult, of course, but the playfulness to going back to being a child. A child doesn't have any fear. Most of them don't until the world teaches them to have fear.
Right.
So the more that we can get back to our childlike self to just really explore and have curiosity and have the courage to climb the monkey bars. And even
Mhm.
though we might fall off the monkey bars, well, you can get back up. And my fiance was a baseball player, professional baseball player, and they would always teach them, oh, throw a little dirt on it, brush yourself off and get up and go do it again. So to empower adults to empower themselves to get that childlike spirit back, to have fun. As adults, sometimes, actually, oftentimes, we have to unlearn things. Life has gotten in the way and distorted it, and it becomes so stressful. And my clients, they're so overwhelmed, they're so confused. But if they just simplify it down to how they were as a child, it's going to bring that joy back out, give them that vision, give them that exciting thing to look forward to. As children, maybe we're excited to go to the toy store. Well, it's the same thing with adults. When I can get adults excited about their future vision, when I can get adults excited about what they are actually capable of doing, when I can get them excited about you have a bigger purpose on this earth and it has really nothing to do with you. It has to do with all the lives that you can impact with your story. So be willing to share that. Be willing to embrace other people. Because I always teach this, Ashley. So many people are afraid to ask for help. Yet I share with them, listen, it's not about getting a handout. It's about getting a hand up. So as a peak performance coach, I give my clients a hand up to say, listen, I've been there. You can do this. I'm on the other side and I'll bridge the gap for you. This is where you're at now. This is what we have to get through, but this is where you can go. So giving them that vision, giving them something to get excited about, it always opens the door to absolute magic. I'll share a quick story.
Yeah, I was just gonna
One of
say,
my
give me an
clients,
example.
one of my clients, God bless her, she is known as the Graves' disease chef, Mina Grace. She was a very successful corporate woman, retired, fortunately, at a very young age, like before she was 50. Life handed her a different deck of cards and she ended up with Graves' disease. Every doctor in the world told her, you have to take out your thyroid, you have to do these things, all of these things that did not align with her. And she told herself there must be a better way. She just turned 60. She is part of my program, which is Break Free, Make It Happen. She was confused. She didn't have the courage. She didn't have the confidence. But I knew it just took one little shift because you can see the light inside of her. You could see the childlike in her. You could see the ambition and the impact that she wanted to make in the world because she actually helped heal herself. And now she teaches others to do the same. At 60 years old, she has reinvented herself. She is about to, oh my goodness, just hit the circuit, changing people's lives. So to see someone like that get back to the childlike, she dances on Instagram. You can go on her page and she's 60 years old with more energy than a 25-year-old.
Oh,
So
cute.
it's so inspiring to me to watch that and to know that she inspires other people.
Right. Talk about your program. What was she taking? Like, tell me what you created and how you created
Definitely.
it and what were the important things that you put in this program that you felt are like must, they must learn this?
Absolutely. It goes back to maybe some of your listeners have felt a time in their life where they are hiding. And about 3 years ago, I was hiding. I wasn't
You?
out. I was not. I was
Wow.
hiding.
Huh.
I was hiding. And I was specifically at an event with my fiance in Miami. And this wonderful, delightful woman walks on stage full of energy in this bright neon dress and these silver Louboutin pumps with all of this energy saying, "Okay, people, get up because I don't do low energy." And I immediately was drawn to her. She is now one of my mentors. But it made me realize in that moment that I had been hiding. I was not helping people the way I used to because of all of the shifts that were happening from 2020 on. I shifted into the financial scene as a financial advisor, mostly in an office, yes, out networking, but I really wasn't out doing the things that I really love to do, which is coaching people. Corporate America, I love you. However, it's not meant for me other
Mhm.
than to help other people that are in corporate that need to break the chains.
Right.
So what I found was I was limiting myself. I was playing small. I was settling for a very beautiful life. I didn't have any wants or needs, but I was settling. I wasn't impacting and I was hiding in fear of this imposter syndrome of, oh gosh, what are we going to switch to now? Fearing what will people think. Everybody knew me as the fitness chick. Then they knew me as the financial advisor. Imagine that shift. That was a big shift. Going from teaching boot camp to, planning your retirement. It's a little bit of a difference. So I had a woman come up to me after I ended up becoming a finalist on a speaking competition called Speaking with the Stars. And she says, "Oh my gosh, I don't know you, but I need your help." So it was from that moment that I decided, you know what? If somebody is asking me for their help, there must mean that other people are going to need that help. And she saw that courage that I displayed after getting into a very uncomfortable situation, not being on stage, not doing any of that for 15 years, but purposely putting myself in a very uncomfortable situation as a testament to myself. Like, I have to practice what I preach. Stop playing small. There's something more. There's always something bigger, and it's outside of us. We have to go out there and impact other people's lives. So this is where Break Free Make It Happen was created. I since then have created the next program, which is Whale. I'm happy to announce that
Yes, that's
Kevin
cool.
Harrington, the original shark from Shark Tank, is now part of my advisory team. And WHALE stands for Women Harnessing Ambition, Leadership, and Entrepreneurship. And this is how we help bridge the wage gap.
How did you get Kevin?
Same type of a scenario, Ashley. As I teach my students, when the opportunity hits, you have to have the courage and confidence to just go out there and do it. You have to be willing to, what I say, grab the microphone. I was at an event not that long ago, about 4 weeks ago now, called A Day with the Shark. We had the opportunity to pitch. I don't have a product. I am the product. I teach
Right.
people, I coach people, right? But I thought to myself, well, this is another opportunity to possibly help another person. So I pitched my idea. They liked it. I said, listen, the She Session, which occurred in 2020, exposed this major wage gap still for women.
Hmm.
82 cents on every dollar for each man. However, we only receive 2 to 3% venture capital. I said, there's a problem with that. However, there's also an opportunity because online coaching or in person coaching or speaking on stages for women will turn into a $685 billion industry at the track that we're clipping right now. in 2030. By the year 2030, this is a $685 billion business, of which 50% are women.
Mm,
So,
I
what we've
believe it.
created is helping women. Maybe they are in corporate America and they want to create a coaching program, or maybe they want to contribute something to someone in a way that involves coaching or speaking or helping or even volunteering, but they just don't know where to start. Women in leadership in a corporate scenario, most of them are afraid to ask for a raise. They're afraid to pick up the mic, as I say, to demand more. Because women, it's a fact, we're better salespeople and we're better investors. It's not my opinion, it's actually a fact. So thankfully, men like Kevin see
Mhm.
that opportunity. Other men that are in the journey as well, they can see this opportunity. So now men and women come along to help bridge the wage gap, and everybody wins.
Wow, what a neat experience.
Super cool.
So when you were up there at the shark event, he said, I want to help you.
So this is a testament. Women, listen up closely. Don't be afraid to be big. Don't be afraid to show up unapologetically and just have 1,000% confidence, even if it's goofy, even if you fall on your face, even if you might be embarrassed. It's just better to play big. So I actually created a song specifically for Kevin.
Oh,
I
funny.
sang and danced the song at the event because I knew nobody else in the room was going to bring a song and sing and dance. But then I told the story. So by making yourself stand out, making yourself a little unique, making yourself bring the energy to the room, the people that were in the room noticed the difference, realized that there's an opportunity there, and the rest is history.
Wow. See, it's like, being a mom and watching girls and being unique or having that one little edge. They do pageants and they've done musical
Fantastic.
theater their whole life since I think you were 2 and I think the little one started when she was 2 and Paige started when she was like 3 or 4. So they've always been on stage or, trying to, have that little edge, like one little thing to
Yes.
kind of catch that, but in life, when you do like what you just explained, like that coming up with that creative thing to attract, to get that attention and know that that's the difference maker. I mean, that's really what life that's my dad used to always that just came to me. He's always like, you just have to have that one little thing that sets you apart, that just shows that you really took that little, extra creativity that you wanted to show them who you really were. And that's amazing, right?
And if I may read my absolute favorite quote, specifically geared towards women. It's from Marianne Williamson's book, A Return to Love.
My favorite.
Our deepest fear is not that we're inadequate. Our deepest fear is that we are powerful beyond measure. It is in our light, not our darkness, that most frightens us. We ask ourselves, who am I to be brilliant, gorgeous, talented, fabulous? Actually, who are you not to be? You're a child of God. Your playing small does not serve the world. There is nothing enlightened about shrinking so other people won't feel insecure around you. We are all meant to shine as children do. We were born to make manifest the glory of God that is within us. It's not just in some of us, it's in everyone. And as we let our own light shine, we unconsciously give other people permission to do the same. As we are liberated from our own fear, our presence automatically liberates others.
Yes. Amen to that. I love that book and I love Marianne and I've learned so much from her in my life. Who do you look up? Like, who are your mentors? Who do you read? What do you listen to? Who inspires you?
Oh my goodness, so many people. I think of recent Jamie Kern Lima. I
Uh-huh.
had the privilege of actually speaking on the same stage that she spoke at this event that I was speaking of, was Speaking with the Stars. And to watch a woman like that, who started as a Denny's waitress, who was told no for 6 years by people that didn't want her product. They actually said to her, "Oh, people will never buy your product because of how you look." I wanted to get up on stage and fight for her. But she kept fighting for herself. She kept knocking on the doors. She kept believing in herself. Actually, one of the gentlemen that told her that and that rejected her now works for her. And if you know the story, she sold her company to L'Oreal for the billions. And this woman is the most light-hearted, genuine, authentic woman. So her book, Worthy, is just a great reminder of that. As women, we are so worthy of being in the rooms. We are so worthy of making a tremendous income. We are so worthy of making a massive amount of impact in the world because that's what we're supposed to do. As women, we're
Right.
just nurturers. We're nurturers by nature. We want to help, we want to serve. So when you're doing that at your highest level, you impact millions of people's lives,
Right.
millions of people's lives.
I had both of my girls read her book. Not the Worthy is her new book, right?
Yes,
Yes.
yes.
So and they will actually talk about that book in their interviews on in the pageants because that was one of the books for me. In my mind, I thought if I could give the girls a book to read that will inspire them to realize that if she can do that, they can do anything.
Oh, absolutely. And just the example that she even took the makeup off of her face to
Hmm.
show that she had rosacea, to just be that vulnerable is a testament to say, stop hiding. You don't have to hide from your greatness.
Right.
Believe in your greatness and be willing to go big. Be
Right.
willing to just be yourself. And I love the fact that you cannot fake authenticity. It's the highest vibration.
Right.
So if you find in your business that maybe your business is not doing so well, sometimes we have to look in the mirror to say, do I really get to show up as myself in my wild t-shirt and dance on stage and have fun and have my
Right.
flamingo lamp in the back with my tiger in the background? Yes, I can, because that's me. Does
Right.
that have to be you? No, of course not. Every single person has such a beautiful, unique presence on the inside of you. And if you just let that out, the doors will absolutely just open for you. Your people will find you. You don't
Right.
have to go chase. Stop chasing.
Right.
Attract.
Yes. Yes. I love that. Talk about all the things you're offering now as we end this amazing conversation. What you have freebies that you give to people that we'll put in the link in this
Yes,
episode.
I do. I do. And any of your listeners, I will share the all of the goodies in the show notes for sure. I have a wonderful fillable workbook called From Stuck to Unstoppable. Just really nice tools to help you maybe get that little move going. It's always that first step. It's getting over inertia to get to momentum. I always say we have to meet Mr. Mo, and Mr. Mo happens to be momentum. So if you can just get unstuck, get that little sticky first step, then you really catch up. So this workbook will help you with that. Plus, I will offer anybody a chance to win a free ticket to our soon to come first whale event, a VIP ticket, which is about a $2,400 value.
Wow.
Yes, it'll be in the future soon.
Oh, exciting.
So I'm happy to pop on a call with anybody if you're interested in entering that, but I'll give you all the show notes as well.
Okay. Oh, it's been so fun to meet you. And learn so much. You inspire me. You make me want to go. I'm always like, go big or go home, but you make me want to go way bigger. Way, way, way bigger. It's just fun to meet somebody who is on a mission to help others see who they truly are and how powerful they are because it it's I love it when I see the light and then when it gets brighter in the I mean, for me, it's I mean, I have parents that I work with, but really when I see the children's light just shine so bright,
Yes.
but I know it's the same for you, and I know that, where this world is going and what we're gonna see in the next 5 to 10 years is gonna be a whole new life, a whole new, uh, I mean, so different, and I just get excited for the new all the new stuff to come. Don't you see the world?
Everything I do, and I will encourage people. If you are staying complacent, if you are hiding in your what I call the I can't cavern as you look out into the what if wilderness, you're going to miss your opportunity. You're going to miss it because these next 12 to 24 months especially, a lot of people who are sitting on the sidelines fearful, you're going to get left behind. Versus if you're attacking those dreams. I always love to tell the story, Ashley, about the cow and the buffalo. Most people don't know that when a storm comes, cows will just kind of hang out and wait for the storm.
Hmm.
But as a result of that, they have to stay in the storm longer. Versus a buffalo actually will head towards the storm. So as the storm passes, the buffalo is in the storm less than the cow because they're actually moving towards the storm. So in these next 12 to 24 months, I encourage you to move towards the storm because you will come out ahead
Mhm.
versus sitting back like a cow, having to wait in the storm longer. Don't wait for the problems to hit. Or if they're already hitting, don't sit in those problems. Face them head on, just like the buffalo.
I love that. Ah, thank you. You make
Thank
me wanna get
you.
out get done with this and go do something. I need to
Let's go.
yes, you've inspired me. Yes, let's go. Oh, thank you. People can reach you, your website, Instagram.
I will leave my Instagram. That's the best way to reach me. Please shoot me a DM to receive all your goodies, your freebies, and that's just at Kristin R. Ericksen, Kristin, the middle initial R, Ericksen, Ericksen. The easiest way to remember it is there's two I's in my first name, two E's in my last name, and an R in the middle. But it'll be in the show notes, and I look forward to it. Ashley, I cannot thank you enough. What a beautiful platform that you have that you're using to help people gain that confidence. And the fact that you're reaching the younger generation is so needed. So thank you for your contribution with this overall mission.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you, thank you.